Բարի երեկո հարգելի հանդիսատես։ Եթերում կրկին 30 րոպե Arthur Sahakyan-ի հետ։ Այսօրվա հաղորդումը կվարեմ ես, Sahak Mikaelianս։ Այսօր մենք խոսենք մի շատ կարևոր հարցի շուրջ։ Խոսենք ինչպես դաստիարակել տղամարդ։ Տղամարդ ասելով ինչպես դաստիարակել բարեպաշտ, օրենքներին ենթարկվող, խիզախ, համբերատար քաղաքացին, որը գիտի իր իրավունքները եւ պարտականությունները եւ ամեն րոպե պատրաստ է օգնության ձեռքը մեկնել ցանկացած մեկին։ Այդ իսկ նպատակով այսօր ես հյուր եմ հրավիրել First Search Ervin եւ Army Instructor Andranik Dovlatian. Good evening, First Search.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming to our show.
Thank you.
Good evening, Andranik.
Good evening. It's a pleasure, and thank you for having us over. Buddy.
Absolutely.
And it's an honor to have the First Sergeant here as well.
You're right. So, Mr. Turner, if I can address you like that.
Sure.
I heard a lot about you from Andranik. Yeah. I know you've been in many places, even in war action, I mean the combat places. If you can give me just a little bit introduction for my TV audience so they will know what's your background.
Okay, well, I grew up in Missouri as a farm boy, and I joined in 1976. And my first duty was in Berlin, Germany, when the wall was still up. And I was able to actually be exposed to Rudolf Hess.
Wow.
And Spandau Prison. So we actually pulled guard duty on him, and they would always try to rotate everybody to get a chance to physically be within 3 feet of him because it's a piece of history. And then I transferred back to the United States, and over the years I spent 9 years in Germany, been to Kosovo, Bosnia, Sarajevo, 49 different countries basically I've either been in or actually lived in.
You mentioned Kosovo, Bosnia. Were you there during the war?
I was there in 1996 on the peacekeeping mission with NATO, which it was sad because we kept the Serbians and the Bosnians apart, but yet every evening we would watch them cross the border and blow one another's villages up, which was sad. But then the next day the cobbler would be out there rebuilding his house. It was very.
Yeah. I mean, during the wartime, will you be as a representative for the NATO alien or for the UN?
No, I represented NATO. I was in the NATO mission.
Yes.
Yeah, they had right at 9 different countries when I was down there in Sarajevo, and it was really sad when we come across the fields where they had the shallow graves, and to have them, identify people basically by their clothes. They didn't know who their name was. They was just, you identified them by their clothing. So,
terrible.
And then,
Horrible.
This is what frustrates me when I hear people talking about how they didn't get, or they feel they're being picked on. They've never been to a third world country. And when you go to a third world country and see the devastation you can see down there, then you can understand what being deprived of something actually means.
What's really horrifying, I mean, when you mentioned as a third world country, that was right in the heart of Europe. And especially 40 years later, after the German Nazi been defeated, 40 years later, there is a new crime, new war, and new devastation. More horrifying than used to be a Holocaust or the whole history of the Europe.
And it's we would go into the villages and meet with the heads of the village, and although our mission was a peacekeeping mission, we would still have to deal with these people that we knew was killing their own people or fighting every day. So that was, considering it was peacekeeping, it was a little hard to figure out because unfortunately the military made us keep all of our ammunition in the crates. We wasn't allowed to.
I can only imagine how mentally you need to be prepared to see all that devastation, pain and suffering of the people, and at the meantime be so strong mentally to handle that and always be in control.
We can teach you.
Yeah, it's a character that you build, and unfortunately it doesn't ever go away. But you just have to learn to shelf that and go forward, and that's why I enjoy teaching what I teach now, because now I'm giving it to the youth so they don't hopefully have to deal with stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I heard from Andranik, JROTC. the program that calls JROTC. Would you please give us a description? What is that JROTC?
Well, it's an acronym for Junior Officers Reserve Corps. It was founded in 1916 under the National Defense Act. And what it was, it's a way to take youths from freshmen, 14 years old, through seniors, and give them a ability to get into the community and into high schools to learn military history, to learn community involvement, and to give not only to themselves, but come out of their shell sometimes and get into the volunteerism.
Absolutely.
And the key is when the whole 24 years I was in the Army, I always taught my soldiers with purpose and direction. That's all anybody wants.
Yeah.
If a person has purpose and direction, then they know why they're doing what they're doing. Well, you do that same thing in the JROTC program, because you take these little 14-year-old freshmen, a lot of them don't have discipline.
That's right.
A lot of them single parent. And so they take themselves to school, they take themselves home from school. So they vegetate in front of the TV, or they just, unfortunately today with our electronics there's no involvement within the areas surrounding them.
I would even say,
reality.
Unfortunately, with all the electronics that kids have these days, there is not even a simple social skills. They don't gain those social skills. A simple, I would say, survival skills. Like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, that's a reality. Most of the teenagers these days, they cannot even make a scrambled egg by their own.
No.
I wanted
can't.
to interject something for Sergeant. The part about the volunteering,
Right.
and along with that appreciating as it is. When we emigrated, age of 9, a lot of people think it's cheesy, but I can sincerely say on public television, I have two countries: my homeland, but the one that I didn't grow up in, but the one that raised me. I was raised by these United States. You remember the Veterans Day service we had in Pasadena, where you had to go somewhere, I had to keep watch over the color guard. You told me, Tony, is your assignment take care of them?
Senior Center.
You remember
Yes.
that, the Senior
Yes.
Center. How many Armenians live in Pasadena, Sahak?
I would say,
Just about as much as in Glendale. How many in Glendale?
I would say
We have a
yeah.
memorial wall sitting in front of City Hall, and we got a memorial service with a veterans, the tank guy in the brown uniform. I want to carry him on red carpet. Not a single Armenian shows up. No appreciation for the freedom that they enjoy, which is not free. Me personally, I'm not going to have it. Okay? So we need this JROTC program that we're going to start. And it's going to be a community-funded thing, community-based thing. And if I have 250,000 Armenians just around here who could probably fund a small army without any problem. So if it privately, let me get done what I'm saying, brother, because it's extremely important to me. It's extremely important to the whole country. And I know it's important to a lot of people. You come here with me. I came here when I was 9 years old. I see you driving around in a car. Never mind the car, wearing a watch that costs more than what I drive. You can't give me a roof to start an ROTC point. You're going to have to give me a roof. Because, first of all, collectively, we're going to make the United States Army great again. That's one of the goals. Second is that this youth realize that you have a memorial wall sitting in front of City Hall. Not once did I see a single political organization represent to have a flower wreath placed at this memorial. I'm offended. I'm humiliated, and that's the character that's missing. So if we come here and we say, America must help this country, America must help that country, America save Armenia, give us democracy, America increase Armenia aid, U.S. aid, where's your character?
No, hold on a second.
Now,
But you don't. Andranik, hold on. But the point is, he cannot judge the people who
No.
listen,
It's not just Armenia.
No.
Let me get to where I'm getting
My point was, it's the first stream of emigration. So the people still have their roots back in their country.
No. It's got nothing to do with that.
Lack of
Our
knowledge,
generation
lack of
appreciated America and the fallen heroes a lot more than what I see today. So I see a downtrend in appreciation of what America's built on. That flag that's sometimes degraded, don't do it in front of me, I don't care who you are. Do not disrespect the American flag in front of me. You can be anybody you want. ով ուզում ա լինի, Ամերիկայի դրոշի իմ դեմը չի disrespect
There
չանի։
cannot be second opinion
So,
regarding the
it's freedom of
flag,
speech.
and
That's
the
one
same
thing that's
as
the
the anthem.
to me personally, it's an exception.
Yeah, but the whole point of this.
That
let's
we
not lose
build
focus-
character.
But let's not lose focus what we're here for. Because in the community at the level you're trying to get started, which is you're 14 years old, they need to be shown how they can improve on what they're taught at home.
Absolutely.
And that's when a student joins my program and the mom comes in and says, he don't have any discipline. I need you to fix that. I can only fix what they learned at home.
Thank you. I was just about
So
to say that.
the biggie is it's real easy to do, okay, to get your own personal venture into it. But what you need to refrain from, and this is why the JROTC is as successful as it is you have to accept all cultures and don't just build on one, because you're going to have kids, you know, because they throw the First Amendment right out. Totally understand that, you know, but well, I don't want to do that. Well, that's fine, but I'm not here to change the way you are. What I want you to do is to learn that you can get involved in your community and have pride for not only yourself, but what you're doing to the community. And it takes a
All are
long time.
welcome. All are welcome.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Like
I agree.
Pasadena, it's a military city. Okay? But they've lost 2 JROTC programs there,
Why?
you know? So,
Mine,
Army
the Air
program
Force
I
program
have-
I went through, they closed it down.
but the
Major
Army program
Prowse.
I have, it stays strong because, you know, I play a huge role in making sure these kids understand
That's
what
why I
it's
need
like
you to keep me in
to
check.
be community involved, what it's like to get up in the morning and not have mom dress me, what it's like to earn respect of the people around you. And that's what this program successful does. And this is where if you're wanting to start this program here, but you can't sell it as I'm going to clean up the neighborhood. And they're
No,
all
no,
gonna-
no.
They
What-
respect me. And this is why I only interrupt you for that reason, because you have to start baby steps, get the knowledge fund, and slowly show these kids, because like, again, going back to what I said in the beginning, every soldier I ever had serve under me, I gave him a purpose and a direction. That's all he wants. You know, you don't
I
have to
see.
yell at anybody.
Yeah.
You don't, you know, say as you do. You know, you got to lead by example. And that's
That's right.
why NCOs are always so successful.
I mean, me being as an immigrant in this country, the main important benefit of your program, as I see at this point, there is a huge gap from the first line of immigration and their kids who've been born and raised here.
That's right.
It's huge.
We isolate them.
And absolutely. So assimilation goes simple when you just come here as a kid, baby, or being born here. But that breach between the parents and kids,
Right.
because of a lack of a knowledge of a language, culture, history, pop culture, all that leaves the effect on the kids.
Right.
And many families struggle. The parents cannot really do their parenting. One side is the fear from the government that we see you cannot raise your voice on your kid, you can't do this. And in the meantime, they realize that they're losing their kids.
Yeah.
They're realizing. That's why I see the main benefit in your program, especially you mentioned it's starting from the teenagers,
Character
14s and up. So to build that respect, not only to your uniform, to flag, to anthem, but starting from your family values to begin with.
You got to self-esteem.
To reiterate and clarify something, my statement wasn't toward the JROTC. It was toward where it was and where it is. Maybe through the young and a new generation coming, we could have better character, not only leading in society, but also joining in the military, making our military
Yeah,
stronger.
and
So that was my-
you'll start that. This is
And
where
doing
the
it within
advantage
the
of this program
guidelines
is.
of- yeah.
Okay, the Army spends millions of dollars on academics and the textbooks that I teach in every day. Its first purpose is self-esteem. There's so many of our youth out there today that have
Low
no self-esteem.
None.
Okay, there's so much bullying going on. There's so much cyberbullying going on, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Our program is, it's for lack of better terms, a haven to where kids can come in and realize I do matter.
That's right.
You know, I go home, mom and dad's not there. If they're lucky to have a mom and dad, mom's working or somebody, I know how to take care of my sister. I know how to help cook. You know, I can help do chores. And the whole time I'm doing that, it's a discipline they're not even realizing they're doing. And then their communication skills improve because now they're out talking to, you know, the elders and so forth, going, and they're respectful. You know, going back to when I grew up, it was yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. How many kids you hear say that today? Okay,
You're kidding?
you know,
When
if you're in a
look at
crosswalk, you're lucky you don't get run over
Yeah.
because you got some kid that's in a hurry or adult. But so the program builds on all that, and then not only do you show the students that, hey, if you do this in the community, now the community can look at you and go, okay, those aren't misfits. Those are kids that really want to make this community successful. And then that's where you'll build what you're talking about.
Lead by
is
example.
you'll get the monuments, getting realization and stuff like that. But you got to ride that fine line of politics, because that'll never
Absolutely.
change.
Yeah.
I would never
And
bring
what
that
we
to the
what we bring
JROTC.
into as a leader, okay, and you know, as a senior Army instructor in my program, that's my key. Every day I challenge those kids. Every day I give them a different purpose. Tony came into my program and he said, hey, look, I did this and this at Muir High School. You know, make me better. I want to give back to my community. And this is what brought us here tonight. You know, he wants to take what he learned, and when I continue to help teach him with drill of my cadets and leadership and discipline stuff, he wants to bring that into your community now. So, you know, it's not going to be an overnight, okay, the Army will say, okay, here's your golden check and go for it. This is something the community itself will have to bring in for the fun, because
And the Army will be watching.
you know, it's got to be, for one, if you want a proper JROTC program sponsored by the Army, a retiree has to teach it. That's what the Defense Act says. That's Title 10. But you can have a National Defense Cadet Corps, which Joe the Barber can teach, as long as he's within the guidelines of what the initiative is. In other words, what they want to see. And it's no longer, I can march from point A to point B, which works real good for drill, because, you know, drill takes discipline.
It does.
But it shows that they're there because they want to learn.
I mean, the JROTC, is that for the strictly boys or?
Oh, no. I got, for the
it's-
past 10 years, I've had all female staff and commanders. The boys just, they won't step up to the plate.
Seriously, girls get promoted faster.
The girls are in there, they're not worried about,
Awesome
hey, I
job.
look better than this one. You know, they ain't got time for all that. They're there to do the mission I give them, and they're there to be successful.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage,
Absolutely.
you know.
Tell me this, what is the length of the program?
Okay.
Let's say if somebody wants to sign up tomorrow.
A student starts at age 14, freshman, and then they can stay for the 4 years in high school. Now, they have a choice. They can do 4 years of high school and then transfer into a university, because JROTC is at high school level, ROTC is at university level.
Military academy, basically.
If they go through the 4 years at, let's say, UCLA, the military pays for their 4-year degree,
Yeah.
and they go into the service, active duty as a second lieutenant. All right, and now their destination's set. They got a whole career in front of them now. Or they can do 4 years of high school, and then if they're good enough and they can get a congressman or woman to sponsor them through a service academy, they can go to West Point, they can go to the Naval Academy, they can go to the Merchant Marine Academy, Air Force Academy. All of them are available to them. But it takes dedication from the individual to set that in their sight. Or some just do it 2 years. They want to learn community service.
Set
They
the
want to learn
course.
volunteerism. They want to learn some discipline because they lack a little bit. And then they go somewhere else for the other 2 years. So I only have sometimes just freshmen and sophomore. Junior and senior, they're out doing something else.
So in other words,
When we say 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
I assume there'll be some sort of a field trips during that.
Oh, we go,
I mean,
well, what we do is
anything- yeah.
every spring break in March, we do a spring camp. We go to Fort Irwin, California, and we take 6 schools, about 350 cadets, and they see what life on a military reservation is about. And they eat with the soldiers, they get to visit with the soldiers, and then we teach them, like, for instance, the rappel sight. You take a kid with a rope the size of my little finger, okay, and they're our size, and they're like looking over that tower at 40 feet below them, and that little bitty rope's what's holding them. And they're like, oh no, I'm not going to die.
Time to get over your fear, Bubby.
They have to understand that rope holds 18,000 pounds. That little link holds another 12,000 pounds. It's not going anywhere. But again, you got to go back to the confidence factor. They have to believe in us because we're the ones that's going to put them down that tower.
Confidence in you and confidence in
the equipment.
himself.
And the equipment.
The guy on the other end of the rope.
Okay, and then we do an obstacle course. We do drown proofing. We do a little bit of marksmanship. It's an array of, it's 5
They
days
get good exposure
nonstop,
to training.
4:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night.
It's an excellent program as I can see. Tell me, is there a tuition
No.
for that program? No. Then
Not if it's a JROTC military sponsored program. And that's all 5 branches. It's not just Army. It's Navy, Marines, Air Force.
By the way,
all
we
that.
don't push them to join the military
No,
necessarily.
not at all.
We do.
I'm actually
character building
forbidden as a retiree teaching a JROTC program. It's illegal for me to, for instance, say if Tony's a senior, I'm going, hey, look, I can get you in the Army. I can't say that. I can allow him to talk to a recruiter, but I can't have any influence whatsoever
So we're not
for
supposed to
him
push
to
joining the military.
join the service.
And it's a
Because,
resume
as
enhancer
the
as
goal
well.
of the program I see, so I'm not gonna help you get into the Army. I'm gonna help you to become a
Better citizen.
Better citizen first.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
And that's what the Army's logo is for the JROTC is helping make better citizens.
How many Armenians as of right now in your
None.
program?
I didn't see any.
I think we have 2.
Wow.
2
I think we have 2.
out of
Yeah.
the all 7 periods.
I have 110 cadets, but our school's only got 570 high school kids. So we're extremely small school. So, yeah, I'm almost positive I have 2. But the problem with that is, and this is something I learned last year, in schools they've taken away, when back in the day when I first joined the Army in 76, you had black and you had white or other. That's all you had. Now you got like 20 choices.
Yeah.
So before you could check Hispanic, it's not Hispanic no more. Now you're white of Hispanic heritage. So when you look at a school's demographics, you're going, wow, they got a lot of white people in that school. No, it's the way it's clarified. Our school is 85% Hispanic.
Yeah.
But if you look at the books, they're all white because they're white of Hispanic heritage.
Yeah.
Same way with Armenians, same way with Asians, same way with African Americans. I mean, it's just however they're classified,
I mean, diversity
which
these
is
days,
sad.
Yeah.
It should just be student.
Exactly.
Period.
I wish one day they just erase those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, why?
Why bring in all that
Yeah.
culture and have to worry about that? Well, I don't know
A
what I want
student
to
in
put.
American, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
Period.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm a student. Period.
That's
That's
right.
it.
I'm getting pretty good reaction, by the way, online when I'm chatting and I'm communicating. So there's a lot of parents and grandparents curious. One of the first questions that pops out is, what if there's a war? Are you going to take my grandbaby? I said, no, we don't necessarily.
I get that question all the time from parents.
But-
I don't want my
but he would look
kid to go
so
in the Army.
good.
He's 14. No, I don't think he's not
No,
going
he's
there.
not going anywhere.
When he turns 18, that's his choice.
It's his choice, absolutely.
But I mean, as we see, for instance, the fires we had just recently,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. I mean, here is the example. You don't have to be in a battlefield
Nope.
to be
Helpful, responsibility to society.
and have your
Natural
confidence.
disaster.
That's
There
where
you
character
go.
comes in.
Natural disaster. We have our students when we go to camp. They fill sandbags. They do this. We donated at Thanksgiving 850 cans of food.
You see that?
Okay, to the
needy.
well, it went to the people of parents who are incarcerated. Okay, because we fed 165 families based off that food, and the cadets didn't have to do that, but they wanted to give, and that was part of their involvement. And now we're working with what's called Families in Transition in our district. I dumped off 400 cans and 12 bags of clothes, and that's within our own district. So we have no boundaries. There's no, I can only give it to this culture. I can only give it to that.
And the other marching and running, singing cadence just like the Army. So there's a lot of other exciting elements that are included. Physical fitness.
Physical fitness is big. I mean,
Yeah.
we
We keep them fit, we keep them healthy.
all we talk about in our society is healthy conscience. Okay,
Research, tell me this. So now, if the parents of those kids, the teenagers watching the program, and they really get interested, how they can sign up, how they can get in touch?
well, that's going to be on your
What's-
community because as me and Tony have talked, you're going to try to start a program like this out from scratch. So the first thing you have to do is you're going to have to find a
Roof.
establishment to put it under. Like I told Tony, I can help him with the basic guidelines of what he needs to get, okay? Because I have extra books and stuff like that, because every year we get new supplements and stuff like that in. But you got to have terrain first. Got to have that roof over your head.
Starting greenfield, buddy.
And then once they get in a classroom, they get a classroom setting, they learn leadership, discipline, and responsibility. And then from that, you go out, if you got a parking lot, if you're lucky, then they learn marching. Because the whole purpose of drill is to move an organization from one point to the other. And they did that in the Civil War. That's why you saw so much discipline when all those soldiers are marching shoulder to shoulder, walking right up to one another, face to face, getting shot right in the face. They didn't think about all that because they had the discipline from drill. That's what they was taught.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we don't go that deep. Okay. But we teach them how one person can move a group of 25 to 30 people from point A to point B in a not mob fashion, but a legitimate, disciplined marching unit.
Together.
So, as I understand,
Team.
first, we are the Armenians as a community.
Right.
Need to find basically a roof.
Yeah.
And the rest is
then
up to me.
Under that roof.
And as he
Rest.
needs guidance, I told him he can come to me and I can
As
help
long
him.
as I got first sergeant here,
You know.
and he doesn't accept just anybody off the street. He knew, he saw the character, and
Yeah.
he probably saw me worthy of leadership in this sort of a program. So he wouldn't have allowed me in the door. No way.
And one of the guys that he was in the same high school with used to be a sub teacher for me.
So as I see, this is basically a win-win situation for all of us. Parents, community, but especially for the kids themselves.
And especially with the character building, like you were saying, and it's also, let me mention again that it is a resume enhancer, you know, for you to show that you have military discipline and everything else. And in addition to that, when you say character, there's a lot of good stuff that comes with the gang prevention, and they're not influenced, they're influential. So they don't change by peer pressure because they've already built the character. We've helped them build the character, but they influence their friends and change their friends toward the better. So they actually become these spears that go out and change society as a whole. In some situations, they actually discipline their own parents. They bring their parents back around to what is right, and I've seen it happen. So it's a blessing to have actually a man like First Sergeant Turner in my life and in my choice, because Army is all I'm about, in, out. I never left it. It never left me. It's a part of my bloodline, and it's part of what I am and who I am. So to have someone like that to accept me and give me guidance is a blessing. Thank you for being here once again. First
Anytime.
Sergeant.
I mean, you know,
thank
that's
you
what
for
it's
your
about.
service to our country. Do mean that.
Yeah, it went fast.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Unfortunately, the time for our program coming to the end.
Okay.
I appreciate.
Thanks for having me.
I really been an honor to sing you. And I guess I just wish you a big future for your program, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna grow because there is a demand. There is a big demand inside of every single communities as well as the whole United States. We need to bring the decent people back.
And together we'll make the United States Army great again, huh?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
very
us.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Հարգելի անձնասներ, այսպիսով ավարտենք մեր այսօրվա հաղորդումը։ Վստահ եմ, որ միգուցե շատ հարցեր առաջացավ ծրագրի եւ ընդհանրապես ինչպես կարելի է անդամակցել, ինչպես ձեր երեխաները կարող են անդամակցել, խնդրում եմ կարող եք զանգահարել ստեղ ստուդիա, հարցնել Անդրանիկ Դովլատյանին եւ ինքը
կունենանք
ցանկացածների հարցերին ձեր համար պատասխան տա։
Այո, ստեղ։
Շնորհակալություն, բարին ընձեզ։